Well, hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut. I'm here with Brian Galke.
Everybody,
See, I'll never forget it now. So,
you're one of the only people who can actually say it right. So.
well, I took the time. I only took 2 years. Kind of, it's a lot of stuff's going on. We've had multiple, times doing video. We've had people on. It's been a good ride. We're quitting. I'm just kidding.
You break up with me in public. You didn't tell me ahead of time. That's just awkward.
Well,
You
that way
take
you
me.
can't freak out.
I was gonna say you take me to a public place so I can't freak out.
No, I like what we're doing here. I like where we're going with this.
Yes.
It's each week we've been focusing on AI a lot, which I really like because it allows me to focus on like I keep saying, I don't know how many times I keep saying, the relationship with the
Right.
client, to
Yeah.
build only that. I have so many softwares and so many CRMs and so many this and so many different things that I like how a lot of the stuff is now becoming one,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
I mean, example, I have, I don't know how I got on this, but I just started thinking about this. But I mean, because if you look at all the stuff I have and what it does,
Hmm.
you're talking thousands of dollars a month to stay in contact with my clients when there is now programs out there that'll do all that for $497 or whatever.
Right.
And you can build it out and you can, or even 97 if it's just you.
Right.
But I mean, because I have this thing called HomeBot, which keeps track of the values of people's homes. It sends them stuff. They can look at it. That's great. But when it first came out, everybody loved it. Now it's like, yeah, I can get my value pretty much anywhere.
Right.
Right. My CRM's at the all the way through the process and at the end stay and talk with them. But there's stuff I want to do differently that I can't do with those. And then what I'm getting at is I know I've been playing with Go High Level. I got introduced to it over 6 months ago through
Hmm.
another company. And it's amazing how many companies out there has been doing this
Right.
and is offering it to you instead of going to High Level
Hmm.
to go through their stuff. And they're like, oh, we have all these videos and we have all this stuff to help you get set up. And it's the same price.
And they're white labeling it.
Well,
Absolutely.
not only that, but just so you can have it, then you can go white label it yourself. But the fact that they go through me to get set up as an agency, so
Right.
you can learn how to set it all up so you can go and sell this to other people.
Hmm.
That's not my plan. My plan is to build it. If it works for me, then we'll talk about it. But it's all about me.
Exactly.
But what's amazing is the support that some of these people have put together that's different than the company.
Yes.
Are you follow me here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we've met several people who it's because they have such a good affiliate participation amount that there's some big names that are out there pushing. There's a one pretty big guy in the marketing space that he's dedicating an entire day a week to helping people figure out how to resell it. I mean, it's getting out there. I told one of the founders when I ran into him recently, the two top things I hear is high level and chat GPT. Everywhere I go, it's the two of them.
Well, and then every time you talk to me,
Yeah, well, that's always a broken record with you, but yeah. But to your point, like I use Mailchimp, and as your audience grows, you pay more, and so there's going to be a point where it's you're sitting here paying for all these different services, and that's where high levels coming in, and they're putting it all under one roof. Is it as pretty? Is it as user friendly? Not currently, but it's the same thing with Chat GPT. AI was there for a long time. Now it's just in a more user friendly way to do it, and that's what they've created. Is it the sexiest way? No. Is it a good intuitive way to do it? Yes. And like you said, if you don't have to have 10 different pieces of software to get your one product going or your one business going, why not move to it?
right? Well, and I lost my train of thought, but it had to do with what you were saying. And the issue is, I like the software. I like certain things about it. We're not trying to push and here's our affiliate link. You'll give you
Right.
30 days to sign up. That's not us at all right now. We're not doing that. We're
Right.
just saying, how is it we see things changing? That's what I was going to get. We've been talking about Chat GPT and the AI, right? But
Mm-hmm.
AI has been around for a long time. It's
Right.
been around here for a long time. I'll start with chat bots. Then now there's so many. It's just any way that artificial intelligence can help you. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be in the form of what we're doing. But um, Rob Onspach he put a thing out the other day about how his book, he got a notice from Amazon that he had something in his book that could offend somebody. What really irritates me is during World War II, we had 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds lie about their age so they can go to war. And
Mm-hmm.
then now we have people with blue hair upset because you didn't call them the right pronouns and they got to get their safe space.
Yeah. Very different
Okay,
world.
and I know I'm going to get, whatever, but what he was saying, how, AI is negative on this side of it. And I can see that because they're using it to, instead of regular people seeing, okay, that makes more sense. But what they should do is, if they're using AI to do that,
Right.
then they need to have a person to go and fix that. Because I mean, Facebook was doing it. A lot of the, those companies were doing with the AI to see all the negative posts in certain ways, words or talk. This is no different than the government looking for words through the airwaves. That's, I'm not saying those words because I don't want them to come after me, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
Well, it's like the old Carnivore Project, right? Where they were reading everybody's emails a long time ago. People are, oh my God, they're reading our emails. And it's like, well, if there's nothing in there, what are you worried about, right? But to your point,
Google, dude, if you have a Google account, they're reading every one of your emails.
exactly. It is what it is. That's why it's funny when you hear somebody go, oh my gosh, this company's tracking. I'm like, they're all tracking you. But anyway, I mean, that's everything you read it's about the data and the lists, right? And that kind of is where we're going to lean back into prospecting here in a minute. But that's what people resell is how many users, right? Who's on their list and what data do you have on those people? That's what the current currency is for most things. How many customers and what do you know about the customers? The data is what people are buying. So anywho.
Yeah, because a bigger list. I mean, I know you just been reading the Secrets book. What's the name? Yeah. But for every thousands of people on your list, every thousands of people or 10,000, it's money. Good job there. It's money to be for that list. The money's in the list, and that's where it always is. But it's also got to be a good list. Guess I'm talking to a ghost.
Yeah, it was me. Sorry, I was picking up what I dropped.
Don't clean it up. You can do it afterwards. You have your maid come in.
Yep.
But the money's in the list is where your clients and staying on your clients. Again, it's all I've been saying this forever. It's about the relationship. Build the relationship with your client. Utilize all these services so you can do that. I mean, it allows you to have talk with leads before they become a prospect. And there's a huge difference there. And a lot of people don't know the difference. And I run into that with new agents and new salespeople all the time. They're focused on this person. I'm like, dude, move on. Oh, but I can't. Move on.
Right. Well, that's not every deal's closable, right?
You can't save everybody.
Away. Right. Know when to walk away. Who's going to be?
Know when to run.
Yeah, there's always you'll see it all the time. Rob did one not too long ago. He fired a few of his clients, and they were clients that paid him well. But if you become too much of a pain, people go away. I used to have a boss that we'd have these conversations like, how much is too much time trying to contact somebody that's an existing customer? And there's a very fine line between really good customer service and stalking. So it's, to your point, are you having a relationship or does it become one-sided? Look, if you're getting ghosted by a customer, my old boss used to say, I can't manage silence. And silence is a deal killer all the time, right? When people stop responding, that's usually a bad sign. But it's going back to what we're talking about. Have you laid out for your prospects? And in the book, it's the Dream 100 that we've seen, get your top 10, your top 25. Do you have a list of who are the ideal clients first? Like, who's your avatar? And then do you have specific people you want to work with? Now, if you're selling door to door, no, that's not going to help you because you just want whoever is going to answer the door. However,
neighborhoods.
What's that?
Could be your top neighborhoods.
Exactly. What are your top neighborhoods? What are the good zip codes? You have to know, what are you looking for? Using the example we've mentioned before in solar, is solar allowed in that area, in that state, in that county, in that HOA? You have to know that type of information going in. So that's where the prospecting comes back up again, is you need to define who's your ideal customer, have your avatar, but then what is your list of the top 10, 25, 50, 100 of those people you want to do business with? And like you said, is it an affluent neighborhood? Is it like, look at when we had Todd on, right?
That's wrong. You can't do that.
That's right. But look at Todd, right? What did Todd do? He picked out, we want people in these areas who are living in apartments, who are, going to be purchasing their first house, but don't have the income to go and purchase a $500,000 house. And so he came up, and that's how he's got his business. And what he said, 900,000 sales in the last year. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah. 500 million in sales.
500 million in sales. See?
That's a couple.
Yeah, just a few. But that's the whole thing, is you have to know who is your audience. And that's where, even when putting out content, it's you have to know who are you talking to in the camera versus, well, I'm just going to make content that's for everybody. Everybody's a deal killer. You can't make everybody happy. You have to have an idea of what you're looking for. And that even goes back to, you've mentioned before, you had a list before you met your wife of what you were looking for in a spouse. You know, at the time you're dating, whatever it was, it versus just saying, well, I'll just
Whatever
talk
it
to anybody who'll
was.
go out with
What
me.
was that?
Yeah. But
I thought I kept that a secret.
no, you brought it up on here numerous times.
No, about whatever I was dating, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Is what you said. But again, it comes back to, you got to know your audience. You got to know your target market. You got to know who you're going after. And we can talk about YouTube videos. We can talk about any of the posts you do. Who are you trying to go after? What is your market? What is your niche? You need to niche it down. You know, it's so, people forget that I want to be everybody. You can't. Right.
Yes. Yeah. It's a nice wish and desire because you have I want to help as many people as possible. That's great. But you have to start with a certain amount of people and then you can expand, but you have to get in your niche first, or your prospect list, whatever you want to call it.
No, is that
then
what it is?
you can go from there. Niche.
I say niche.
Yes. Your niche, your niche. All depends
Yeah,
on
and I think a lot of people, you know, they just want business and they don't think about what they're doing and really not, you need to notch it down to who your perfect client. I know we've said that. I two things. You need to know who your perfect client is, where that is, and you need to know something that's going to come to my head in a second there.
Where do they hang out?
Relationships, how to build relationships.
Yeah, exactly. How do you build relationships with them? And again, that's, of course, I'm always a fan of the latest book I was reading, but in Traffic Secrets, that's what Russell talks about, is how did he get in to Tony Robbins? It took him 10 years to finally start working with Tony Robbins, and some crazy amounts of money and time and what they did and everything else. But he started with just who was an ideal client and reached out. And the book is peppered with other examples of how people made a list of who they wanted. And you can start with your list, and as people tell you no, you take them off your list and you add on new people. So your list is constantly being refreshed. It's not a one and done type situation.
No, because and for me, there's only so many people I can handle, and with what I do. And I'm not talking prospects. I'm talking the people that might refer them to me and different types of people who refer them to me. And I remember reading a book a long time ago. They talked about how a guy stalked somebody, like he would show up at the restaurant at the same time him, or the locker, or at the gym. And there was somebody I wanted to meet and accidentally run into, and so I did that at the gym and accidentally run into them. They're going to be coming. There's so many times at events that I want to meet somebody and talk to somebody, and I wait and I watch, and then I just happen to be right in that spot that needs to be to talk to them.
Right. Don't be in the urinal. That's never a good idea.
Yeah, I know. I don't do bathrooms. There's no talking in the bathrooms. Don't talk to me at the urinal.
There's no talking in the guys' bathroom. I feel like in the girls' bathroom, there apparently is a lot of talking that takes place.
Oh, that's different.
Yes. In the guys' bathroom,
they're not. They got these walls in between them.
Yeah. But you bring up a good point. It's being where people are going to be. And there's numerous people who have reached a celebrity, somebody they've really been looking for, by finding out what are their hobbies and what are the charities that they love. Because if you can go in, you find out somebody is heavily involved with the charity, number one, you're doing good work. And number two, you get the benefit of rubbing elbows with the person you're trying to get to anyway. And people when they're donating their time and money and energy to a charity, they're more giving and they're more open than if you try and get through their gatekeeper any other way, or you try and crash an event that they've done. I have a really cool story about that. A local friend of mine, who she's a female attorney, has loved Mel Robbins, loved Mel Robbins for a long time. She saw Mel Robbins post that she was going to be in Dallas, but she didn't post where she's speaking. And the attorney side of her went and researched what's going on in Dallas, where's going. She actually showed up the event. She wore a lanyard that wasn't for the event, but she had one on, snuck her way into the room and got to meet and take a picture and listen to Mel Robbins talk. Right now, she didn't get to meet Mel Robbins, form that one relationship with her, but she found a way to get what she wanted by being creative. It was a really cool story. I'll have to find it and share it.
Usually you go to jail for stuff like that. So.
Not in public. Now, if you do it at their house, totally different.
Well, no, it's like what's good about LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. Who do you know that can connect me to the person I want to meet?
Right? Exactly.
And that's the one thing nice about the speakeasy part of that we're part of and other things is somebody in there will know somebody we want to meet. That's just how it works.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
and it's about building relationships with people. Relationship again, the relationships you need to meet, with we done with a bunch of people when get to know you guys at the speakeasy, and we have relationships going forward. That's where I met you.
Yeah.
And having those relationships allow you to get to where you want to go. So it's not only with your clients, it's also with other people that you're dealing with. It's all about the relationship. And I don't know how many more times I can say that.
But a key point that what you brought up is the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? And that is somebody knows somebody who knows somebody. What a lot of people do, though, is they temporarily befriend the person who get them somewhere else, and then they ditch on the first person. And what that does is that kills your network, because that news will travel faster than anything else. So you always hear about, yes, that person made it to somebody, but they don't have staying power because they treated the people poorly that helped them get what they want. And so that's why I know you keep saying relationship. It is important to maintain those relationships over the long term, not just what can you do for me and then move along to somebody else.
That's not a relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why I say I built so many relationships through Rotary that I'm part of, and I didn't reach out to anybody for business. They came to me.
Yeah.
Right. And that's all about building the relationships. People will find you, right? That's what it's about. And that's, and I know we've talked about so many things over the last so many weeks, but one thing that's the same theme throughout of it is building the relationships.
Absolutely. Well, it's the make it or break it. Yeah, it's the make it or break it. Is if you can't form relationships and you have a long-term product, or you need referrals and everything else, you will get nowhere. I mean, there are some things you don't need relationships for, right? Like we talked about knocking door to door. Well, if you want referrals, you still need it. Working a car dealership, well, referrals this day and age are more important than ever in a car dealership, because now everybody knows where all the prices are. You can shop it on the website. You've got to really stand out in relationships and customer service. And as we talked about before, people have gotten kind of lazy the last few years because limited product and supply have made it where people haven't had to do anything. And now it's one of those things of, as the world is starting to tighten up the belt a little bit again, I see my friends that are realtors having problems, right? If they came in at the time that they never had to learn the sales skill, right. And
or they forgot it.
Right. Or they forgot it. Let me find that funny picture I was going to share.
Well, but the thing is, I mean, right now, so us, we got multiple offers again.
Right.
At 5 to 10 grand over asking again.
Wow.
Already. Just happened in the last couple of weeks.
Here's what we were talking about before with regards to prospecting. So there were different ways that people prospected. You had to do cold calling back in the 90s. People went knocking door to door, leaflets, you name it, in 2008. And now people are doing dancing videos in 2023. Yeah. And that's the funny thing is, you may be getting attention, but are you getting the right kind of attention? So we've seen it move away from the dancing on screen to go ahead and how do I take this back down? There you go. Remove.
Just click on the 2 here. I'll help you.
There you go. You can tell who's the expert in StreamYard and who's not. But it started off with people dancing on TikTok to get attention. And then what they realized is, no, drone videos and actually walking people through the house and creating that open house online where people could walk and see a house and go, holy crap, that's an awesome house. Now I want to go see it. We have a mutual friend, Courtney, in Vegas, right? And I watch his videos, and I don't even live in Vegas. I'm very interested in what he creates and puts out there to see of what it's like to walk through the house out there. And that's what's interesting about prospecting, is it's constantly changing, evolving. And that's why we're talking about AI. But look at where people went. It first started that you met somebody, it was almost like a network marketing, right? You became a realtor and you asked all your friends, hey, are you selling the house? Then it was cold calling. Then it was going door to door. Now it's hosting events, right? Happy hours, inviting people to come see you, doing open houses. And when people come to look at a house, if somebody sees the sign, then you're trying to get them to use you as the realtor. And now it's going to social media and putting out videos and information beyond just come look at my house or use me, but creating tips and YouTube videos and checklists and things that people don't know about. It's creating more and more content and value for the customers. So you build that relationship with somebody. Because what we talked about before, it takes on average, it used to be like 7 times before somebody would buy. And now it just keeps climbing more and more, because people with ad retargeting and everything else, you get in front of people, but you have to keep giving them something different. Nobody likes to hear the same repetitive thing over and over again. So it's how are you creating that additional value so people think of you?
And I think a lot of people are getting tired of the retargeting, to be honest
Oh,
with you.
yes. Yes.
Why am I seeing that again? Why am I seeing that again? They're following, they're tracking me, which is okay. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand how that works. I understand how all that stuff works and what you can do with geofencing and all that fun stuff. But the real question is, it's all about, again, what you were talking about is knowledge and education.
Mhm.
Giving the clients knowledge and education. That's it. That's all it's
Right.
about.
Being a
And the
consultant.
more you do that, and
Yeah.
then, you know, I like the old jab, jab, hook, or whatever, you know, three,
Yep.
you know,
Jab,
where
jab, right,
you
right.
give,
Yeah.
give, give, and then you ask.
Mhm.
Give, and then ask. And that's kind of how we do the radio show now too, is we give, you know, information, and then it's just us with our, you know, with us talking.
Right.
And it should be the same for everything you do. Remember that, especially the stuff, the videos you and I do right now, we do not abide by that.
Right.
Which would have meant we should have hooked you in the beginning. This is what we're going to talk about. We're going to give you this, and then give it to them, and then let them know, and then our ask. Well, you know what the
Right.
call to action is: go, you
Subscribe.
know, take this information and do something with it.
Right. Well, and it's in the book again. It's right now we're just documenting the journey of where do we get started? Why is it called Aces 53? What do we think are the importance of going back to the basics of sales? What have people gotten away from over time that we talked early on? We were both inspired by like Zig Ziglar and how to win friends and influence people. And the funny thing is, people now believe that there's just magic scripts that if I say these words, deals suddenly fall in your lap. But what you really find out at the end of the day is almost every business is about really providing superior customer service and taking action to do something. So, Ryan Stewman called the F and leads, and you talked about earlier, people are afraid to pick up the phone. And so people think, well, I'll prospect by just putting content out there. That's a way to prospect, but it's not all of the ways to prospect.
You still need to talk to people. You got to
Yeah.
get FaceTime with people because objections are great because at least people are knowing that they're serious about what they're doing. They have
Right.
questions. They're objecting to you. That's just part of the sales process. It doesn't mean it's over. You just haven't given them the knowledge. That's why I came up with that whole, getting past no, right?
Right.
Knowledge needed to overcome waiting, because that's what we don't explain things to people like we should, right? We expect them. Here's all the information. Now come with me. No, that doesn't work that way.
Well, it says free candy on the side of the van. What more do you need?
I was going to go there too, but I'm glad you did. It tells you who's the weird one.
That's right.
All right. And that's kind of all I kind of wanted to get into today, was just focusing back on it's the same thing. All the AI stuff we're going to talk about going forward or back, and the sales and the training, it's all just to help you get in front of your clients, turn the prospects into clients, and stay there and build the relationships with them.
Absolutely.
That's that. I'm going to stop right there.
Let's do it.
I'm George Costanza. I'm leaving the room.
Yep.
You understand that, right? George Costanza used to lose his little jokes at the end, and then he got to a point where one would lay and everybody laugh, and he would leave the room.
No, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Seinfeld growing up.
Well, Courtney does. Courtney will get it. All right, everybody, make it a great day. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. I know we kind of rambled today, but we just want to focus on building the relationships with your clients.
Yep. Everybody have